making sure you treat yourself to all 19 inches of venom. It's a Slice of Gaming podcast. I'm your host, Moonlight150, and this is a Slice of Gaming podcast for September 8th, 2023. Make sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Audible. So just want to give a quick shout out to our launch of a new show that we did this past week, Slice of Anime. Thank you so much for the warm reception that we got to it. Got a lot of views real quickly, a lot faster than we thought we would on that. So thanks for tuning in for that. I think that's all we wanted to say. So let's just move on to the intros. Actually, I'll remember the intros this time.
Yeah, right.
We existed last time.
It's a one-man show.
Mm-hmm. Standing guard at Baldur's Gate. It's Bench.
Hello, I am here.
Employee of the month at Ryujin Industries. It's Wolf.
Don't fucking mention them. I don't want to talk about it.
And doing yet another stealth archer run in Skyrim. It's Dark.
How's it going?
So we got a pretty light news week. This might be the lightest on record. Yeah, that's kind of debatable, I guess.
Nah, last week was really, really light.
Was it? I think
it was. No, because most of that discussion was Starfield, so it seemed like it was a longer episode, like a bigger news week. But it was like one page on the doc of news. Wow. It was pretty freaking light.
So this week is mainly delays and rumors, and that's pretty much it actually. Because I think a lot of the industry is getting ready for like Tokyo Game Show and the supposed Nintendo Directs and State of Plays that are floating around as rumors right now, but which we'll talk about as our topic later on. But let's get through the actual little bit of news that we have this week with Wolf.
Yeah, like it said, pretty light news week, but there's some pretty interesting conversations we could have here. The first big topic we got here: Nintendo showed devs Switch 2 demos. This comes from Andy Robertson over at VGC. Sources: Nintendo Switch 2 demos at Gamescom. The company is understood to have held private tech demos ahead of an expected 2024 launch. That's according to a new report from Eurogamer, which VGC can corroborate via our own sources. According to the publication, Nintendo privately showed invited developers specially prepared tech demos for its next generation games console, which could launch next year. One Switch 2 demo is understood to have been an improved version of the Switch launch title, Zelda Breath of the Wild, running at a higher frame rate and resolution than the original game did on hardware, targeting the new console specs. But there was no suggestion the game would actually be re-released. Another VGC source claimed that Nintendo showed Epic's impressive The Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, originally released to showcase the power of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X in 2021, running on target specs for its new console, or next console. So, pretty interesting news story. This was a kind of a thing, like, as they said, Eurogamer got the initial scoop, and then VGC corroborated, and I think a few other sources like IGN corroborated as well. So it's very much a thing, like, the Switch 2 exists, developers have seen it. Now it's just the idea of like when we're getting this thing, and I kind of want to just throw it onto the floor. Like, what do y'all think about these Switch 2?
I mean it seems to be, for the longest time it was, it's going to be a big upgrade. Then like the last 6 months to a year, it's actually going to be a little smaller upgrade, and it seems we're back on it's going to be a pretty substantial upgrade path whenever this thing comes out, which I do think will be late 2024 at this point.
Yeah, late 2024 seems to be kind of the agreed upon release date for this thing. How about you, Dirk?
Yeah, it feels like an open secret at this point that this thing exists for as many years as people have been talking about it. But yeah, it's cool that it's finally being shown off to people, and we probably might see it by the end of the year, maybe. So there's that at least.
If I can
I don't know about that.
We got a lot of talking. Hang on, Bench wanted to add one more thing real quick. Go for it.
We knew a couple of weeks ago we had the rumor that FF7 Remake was running at pretty good at almost a PS5 level on this new Switch hardware, and we all kind of wrote it off. But from this, it doesn't seem like it's too far-fetched at this point.
I'm not saying that it's impossible.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that rumor had a lot of issues, so.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see the development of that story from last week of there's rumors of that Nintendo did show off a tech demo of Switch 2, and we all kind of went, maybe not. Now they're like, oh no, yeah, no, it was confirmed. People saw stuff.
Well, the thing is that rumor was the journalist saw the Switch 2, and that's why we were like, it doesn't really make sense. But developers, it's yeah, that makes sense. A year off, you want to show devs, try to get some third parties into it. try to get their games like ready for Switch 2. Moon, you were kind of like apprehensive to the idea of seeing Switch 2 at the end of this year, but Dark seems to believe. Can you guys argue and start maybe beating each other up? That'd be fun.
I'm with Moon.
The only reason I don't think so, and I forget who brought it up. I can't remember where I saw it. It was either on Twitter or even in the Game Mess Discord when the topic came up. But it just seems like if it is a early 2024 release, then why show the product anytime before the holiday? It's like, okay, yeah, here's this brand new console, but remember, make sure to buy some Switches this holiday. It doesn't seem to make much sense. They want to get that last one big push of a holiday of people, parents buying Switches for their kids as they're grown up. As you say, every year there's a new generation of Switch owners every year because they grow up into the age of like, I want a Switch now. So it's like they want one more holiday of people buying Switches before the new one releases. Now, if it's releasing like mid to fall next year, maybe, because then people won't be like, well, I'll just hold off for 2 months, 3 months after Christmas for the Switch 2. But if they have to wait until like August next year, September next year, or even hell, holiday next year or November, then yeah, then they can show it off and start getting, that early hype cycle going. But if it is like the supposed early 2024 release, I just don't see them shooting themselves in the foot for another sale of Switches this Christmas.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be announced next summer around the time when the OLED was announced, like mid-July, and then it'll launch late October, early November 2024. I don't think we hear about it this year. I think their next next full fiscal year reporting, they can, instead of saying, oh, we don't know when new hardware is going to be, I think they might allude to maybe we're going to hear something sooner rather than later. But I don't think we hear anything for the next 6 months plus.
Counterpoint to this whole thing, the Switch 1 was revealed October of 2016, so before holiday.
Yep.
Yeah, but here's the difference, though.
That was the Wii U.
That was the Wii U.
Yeah.
It was dead.
Yeah,
It was already dead and floating in the pool.
It wouldn't have mattered either way. But yeah, I could see it either way. I kind of just want it to be revealed already because I'm like, just give me this.
I'm tired of the rumors. Yeah, it's like I would love it to be revealed like in the next month or so, but no, it doesn't make logical sense.
Yeah, so Nintendo's been wanting to like reveal things closer and closer to release, after the whole Metroid Prime 4 fiasco. And I think like it's smarter overall from a business standpoint to like maybe reveal it around like March of next year. Kind of like maybe like April, kind of be like that big like fiscal thing to get investors like really excited to like at the start of the fiscal quarter.
It really does depend on when do they plan on releasing, because we've heard so many things of early 2024 for so long now, and early 2024 seems to look at like February, March, April, and we're like, no, there's no way in less than 6 months from now is a Switch 2 console coming out.
I mean, they have been revealing things earlier and earlier. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if like the next 3D Mario game, they're like, yeah, it's coming out next week at this point, because Nintendo's been pretty aggressive with like trying to keep things as close to their chest until like the final reveal. But also, I do agree that like for a new console, I feel like Nintendo likes to be at least slightly more traditional. And Wii U was such a like different case. So like October reveal, March release, like that would fit under the 6-month thing. But also that was the Wii U. That's a whole different situation.
They wanted people to forget about the Wii. It's like, be excited for Nintendo again. Here's the Switch. We promise it'll be good this time.
Exactly. But yeah, I guess to talk about it, like the Matrix and the Breath of the Wild demos, any thoughts on those two? I mean, the Matrix demo was very impressive. The fact that they're able to get it to work on Switch 2, pretty interesting to hear about, honestly.
Yeah, if it can run that and it runs well, that's impressive.
Yeah. I think this is gonna, as the hardware specs go, I think with DLSS and everything, it'll bring it up between like a PS4 Pro and a PS5. I think it'll target somewhere in there, which is impressive, and I think it's gonna keep it afloat for a very long time.
If it works better than the Switch one, I'm happy. That's all. Because like I've got to getting sick of this thing.
I'm just interested to see like the graphical showcase of Nintendo games in the next couple years.
Nintendo knows how to use their hardware, so like the first party games are going to be the real exciting things to see. It's just interesting how I guess for lack of a better word, upstage the Switch has been compared by the Steam Deck in terms of like, oh wow, this game can run on the go. Like that's kind of that whole conversation's been replaced by the Steam Deck. But also now the Switch conversation is, well, Nintendo makes really fucking good games, and I think Nintendo's pretty happy with that like viewpoint of people looking into their console like, yeah, you come here for the games, you're not really there to play a new game portably. Like that's not the crazy thing anymore. It's check out how good this game is.
And if they can like renew that portability and make that experience even better, that's just going to add to it.
Exactly.
I'm just not looking forward to, and I hope Nintendo just comes out and says, like, we have no plans to patch our older games so they run better on new consoles. It's like, I want them to just squash that immediately so we don't have to deal with like 6 months of, yes it is, no it's not, yes it is, no it's not.
It damn well better be backwards compatible. Like
if it's not backwards compatible, I swear to God.
I have like 200 digital Switch games. It better be backwards compatible.
I mean, it's just weird to think about if it's not backwards compatible. But like, it's like any other company, you're like, oh yeah, of course it's gonna be backwards compatible. With Nintendo, it's like, never know.
I mean, but look what Sony did though.
They're probably just gonna do what they did with like the Wii to Wii U. They just put that console in the new console.
That's the thing. Like, I think they don't want to stray too far from the Switch itself. Like, I think Switch 2 is going to be like the most iterative Nintendo console. It's going to be more like a PS4 to PS5 than a Wii to Wii U or GameCube to Wii.
It's gonna they're gonna want to keep like selling on the Switch. Will continue to sell. Like it's only us video game nerds who are going to be really interested in Switch 2. All the casuals will still be playing their Switch. They're going to want to still play their Animal Crossing, their Mario Kart 8. So they're going to continue to sell. So they're going to want to sell these still running games on the Switch too, so they can continue selling more copies.
I actually think Nintendo's going to do a very hard cut whenever they release new hardware. I don't think we're going to have lingering cross-gen games with them like we have this generation with PlayStation and Xbox. I think it's just going to be a big game comes out, like the launch games, maybe cross-gen, but after that, I think it's a pretty clear-cut thing. I think they're going to move on.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be mostly can run on both, but there's going to be like a few select like big titles that are going to be Switch 2 exclusive.
I doubt it. I think they want to move on.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, it's just going to be an overall pretty interesting story to follow. And also, all of this isn't going to matter when the Switch 2 gets revealed, and then we're just like, oh, cool, new Switch.
Day one.
Day one.
I'll probably be day one.
Moving on. This is a pretty weird story. Roblox is coming to PlayStation. This comes from, I apologize if I butcher this name, Rishab Sabarwal from Dextero. Roblox is launching on PlayStation this October. At the Roblox Developers Conference 2023, the company announced the long-awaited release of the Metaverse platform for PlayStation consoles, set for October in this year. In addition, the Builderman offered a sneak preview of the action. Roblox, one of the most popular metaverse platforms, has I really fucking hate that word metaverse. Okay, has garnered viral popularity over the years due to its compatibility with a variety of devices. Whether it's desktop computer or mobile phone, the ecosystem attracts players from all over the globe. While the game is majority from platforms, there were rumors that it would be released on PlayStation consoles in the near future. At the ongoing Roblox Developers Conference 2023, however, David Baszucki, CEO of Roblox. Bazuski, CEO of Roblox, also known as Builderman, has announced that the Metaverse platform, just say game, Dextero. I'm not calling it Metaverse platform. Has announced that the video game will launch on PlayStation consoles in October of 2023. That's pretty much like all we know about the release for the PlayStation version. I also there was a good amount of stuff that actually happened at this conference. Not really of our sphere. We're not really Roblox fanatics here. But one of the most interesting headlines, Dean Takahashi over on Twitter brought this up. Roblox CEO Dave Bajuski predicting dating on Roblox in 5 years. And there's an image of for 17 plus verified people and 17 plus experiences. Thousands of adults will meet for the first time in Roblox dating experiences and subsequently form relationships. That's a whole conversation in and of itself.
Let's go.
Bench, you were gonna say something?
This is how Bench is gonna find someone.
Listen, I actually think this is a terrible idea. It's Roblox. If you go, I played Roblox, and you look at the chat, it's all children. What are they thinking?
It is. It's just a weird thing where it's like, why do you need to add dating to a platform that's primarily geared towards children? Like, yeah, adults play Roblox. You know, those adults, they could talk to children. I feel like you want to try to avoid this situation.
It's like if okay, cool, you're an adult, you find another adult who's playing Roblox. Cool, you want to hit them, you want to riz them up. Just exchange Discord information. You don't need a program in Roblox to flirt with one another.
Exactly. I think one of the biggest. So, if you guys don't know, the Roblox company is extremely corrupt and fucked up. There are amazing video essays that I would recommend anyone to watch on the topic. Just search up Roblox on YouTube, you'll probably find it. But one of the most interesting things is that there is straight up gambling in Roblox with real money that they call, they use Robux, but like you can exchange real money for Robux. And like kids, it's like unsanctioned, like kids can gamble, all that stuff. It is pretty fucked up. That company does not give a shit about its player base.
Not a Christian band.
That is primarily children. Thanks, Bench. But that their player base that is primarily children. And the Roblox company could care less about them. They very much do not protect the kids at all.
I think this leads to a bigger conversation that's been going on for a long time. Is how long is it going to take for this kind of stuff to get like legal amplifications and stuff? Because I think we're still in the early years of this kind of stuff appearing, and it's just not being controlled, and people are being exploited.
Well, the big thing is that this is like, it's like you say legal. It's like, okay, legal as in the U.S. government, because Roblox is a worldwide game. Like this could be a thing where like they have, like there are hundreds of countries. Like I also agree. Like I would like more legal ramifications for this shit. But you are talking about like trying to get it to work in like hundreds of countries around the world. Like that is a tough ask.
If the U.S. goes after it and then Europe goes after it, it'll be like a domino effect. At least that's what I assume.
The only two countries in the world. No, I'm kidding. I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Wow, just insulted all our Australian fans.
I mean, Europe's been really cracking down on like Apple and their practices and right to repair and a lot of stuff. And that's been creating a domino effect. So I'd assume eventually stuff will get to these and that'll be the same.
Exactly. And, like that's kind of the hope. Moon, do you have a read on that situation?
Not really so much. I mean, well, her first thing first was I had no idea that Roblox wasn't even on PlayStation yet. I just kind of assumed it was.
Yeah, it's so weird because it's on Xbox, PC, mobile, everything.
As I looked into it, like it's been on Xbox since 2015, which is wild that it took them this long to now add PlayStation.
I think they just forgot. I genuinely do.
It's like, oh yeah, there is another platform, isn't there? The one with the wings.
And also Switch, it's still not on there. That is a very like child-focused market.
Yeah, that's kind of still crazy.
They wouldn't allow it on the Switch.
Yeah, everything else. What's that?
Nintendo's not going to allow it on the Switch. They're very against games that like communicate with one another like that. Even games like Fortnite is super monitored on the Switch. It's just a thing that Nintendo does.
Fair, yeah.
It's probably also why games like Genshin isn't on there. I'm guessing they don't allow the very heavy.
If you want to get into the reason why
Genshin can't
it
run
is
on the
such
Switch.
a funny story. No, it's not about not running. You want to know the actual story.
It's the monetization,
it's the way that
right?
monetization. Yeah. With the way that the store works, like Nintendo makes it really difficult for it to work.
Yeah, that's why I figured it's the microtransactions.
But yeah, I mean, do we have any last thoughts on this whole Roblox situation?
I guess I don't know much about Roblox.
Yeah. Roblox fans, sorry, we failed you today. Though I don't think you're old enough to use YouTube yet. So
yeah, I use the explicit tags on our podcast, so no, you're not listening to this.
You better not be. Go make up your bed. Moving on. Quick story, interesting read here. Donald Mustard is leaving Epic. He says over on Twitter, after an incredible adventure, I will be retiring from my role as Chief Creative Officer at Epic this month. I have enjoyed nearly 25 years in the gaming industry, collaborating with some of the most talented people ever, and I am so proud of what we have made together. From the ambitious Advent Rising, I want to talk about Advent Rising. We'll talk about that in a second. To the start of Chair, where we created Undertow, Shadow Complex, and the Infinity Blade trilogy. To the honor of our tiny team becoming part of Epic, each new chapter allows me to accomplish something new and original. I am especially proud of the opportunity I've had to create and help share Fortnite. I am humbled to have been part of the team. Almost done. I am humbled to have been part of the team that every day tries to bring joy and delight to the Fortnite community. We love watching and experience every moment, leaving from the battle bus for the very first time, seeing the rocket crack open the sky, dancing with friends after a victory royale, being sucked into a black hole, or being washed out to see as the island flipped over. Jeez, this game is so weird. And on and on. I can't wait to now share in the future of Fortnite as a player alongside all of you. You are not playing this game. The teams are in the best hands and they are working on huge, jaw-dropping, amazing things. I'm excited to spend time with my wife and family, and I'm forever grateful to Tim Sweeney and the Epic Games family. Bench, you had something to say.
Yeah, I just think this is someone who's had a very successful and enriching career and is just retiring super early because he can.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much more than that.
I agree. I just thought this was an interesting tale because Donald Mustard is such a leading figure on Fortnite, and was there from the inception. And he's got a really interesting story. I want to talk about Advent Rising, but I'll let you go.
Yeah, I mean, I looked up his age and he's 47, so he's still rather young. But I mean, yeah, he's well off for the rest of his life and his kid's life, most likely. So.
Yeah, he has more than enough money to support him and his family. Fortnite money is not. It's a lot.
Yeah.
He mentioned Advent Rising. Do you guys know about this game?
No,
I do not.
I highly recommend watching the Matt McMuscles video on Advent Rising. This is one of the most fascinating game development stories ever, of one of the most ambitious games. Basically, this was trying to be Mass Effect before Mass Effect was a thing. It had all this other media, cartoons, movies, extracurricular comic, but all this stuff basically planned out before the game even came out. This huge world building universe, and the game came out and it was a massive financial flop. I am not doing that story justice. Advent Rising is one of the funniest video game development stories of all time. It was early in Donald Mustard's career. I don't really think of him he was the reason it failed. It's clear he had ambitions and it just didn't work out the way that it should have. But it's a very fun story to learn about. But yeah, as we said, there's not really much else to say here. It's clear he's just retiring for the sake of retiring.
In terms of Fortnite, he was a big part of the collaboration effort because Fortnite, they collaborate with fucking everybody at this point. He was a big part of that because a lot of collabs were directly because of something from his childhood compared to the majority of Epic. So it is curious to see how Fortnite's handle this going forward without him. If we'll see less collabs or if we see even more.
Well, what's gonna happen is a huge weeb is gonna take his position and then just start getting all the anime stuff like Bleach and One Piece and JoJo, all that shit. We're coming back, baby. I'm just saying, if anyone wants to apply, we could get this happening, guys. It is interesting though. I think they do get someone younger though. As you said, it's stuff from his childhood, which is 80s and 90s stuff. It'd be cool to get more 2000s era in intellectual properties.
Yeah, I'm sure the new guys the precedent has been set to where it's oh yeah, so Fortnite just does massive collabs. So the next person knows okay, who can we go after to get some more collabs?
Yeah.
The person shouldn't be too young because it's the COO position. It's still
Oh yeah, they're gonna be mid-30s. That's what I expect. So they're gonna be a millennial. So you're gonna get more 2000s properties most likely, maybe some 90s stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, not much else to say. Moving on to our more small topics. Alone in the Dark gets delayed into next year, and I'm actually gonna put this together with Replaced, which also gets delayed to next year. Alone in the Dark, this actually comes from their Twitter account. Horror games thrive on the eerie ambience of solitude, something that is impossible to achieve in a gaming month as busy as October. To ensure a breathtaking experience for everyone, we have made the decision to move the release of Alone in the Dark to January 16th, 2024. And I also wanted to also throw in this. Xbox exclusive replaced delayed. Quote, at this point we can't afford to release a subpar game. Kat Bailey over on IGN. Replace an upcoming Xbox console exclusive has found its way to several most anticipated lists thanks to its lavish pixel art has been delayed to 2024. Developer Sadcat Studios announced the delay alongside a production update, stressing that the team, quote, do understand the game's scope, end quote, and that development is progressing, quote, at a steady pace. However, the high quality of its visuals, which includes more than 500 meticulously hand-painted animations made just for platforming, has put the release behind schedule. Moon, I know you actually played Alone in the Dark, the demo. Did you have thoughts on that delay specifically?
Not really. It's kind of nice and refreshing for a developer to just be like, you know what? It's like, we're going to wash our hands. October is just too damn full. Let's get the fuck out of Dodge.
I thought that was interesting.
Instead
They
of like
outright
trying to
stated that.
yeah, instead of just like, oh, you know, we want to put on some extra polish to make sure we deliver the best games. Like, no, we're just getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, they get it. Like, they understand that like October is such a massive month for games. If anything, Resident Evil 2 kind of Resident Evil 2 remake pioneered the horror games in January thing, and I think it actually works out for this game.
It'd actually be interesting to see if this like helps it in the long run, because January is pretty dead right now. There is a little bit of competition at the early of February, so it's kind of like a good 2 weeks of being the first like big name release of 2024. So who knows, maybe that'll have it going for it, and maybe later on down the line in 2024 discussions, like it could actually hold its own in 2024 Game of the Year, or at least I doubt it's going to be up for Game of the Year, but it'll be like a game people will remember more so in 2024 than the jam-packed 2023.
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree. And its only real competition is Tekken 8, and that's a fighting game. Like, that's a different genre. So like
completely different genre.
Exactly. I think it's going to be much better in that date, unless Alan Wake 2 decides to also delay to January, which would just be kind of funny. But, hey. But yeah, other than Alone in the Dark, we also got the replaced stuff. I was actually really looking forward to this game, but I also knew that it was gonna get delayed. Like, we were this far into the year without a release date. It was pretty surefire.
Pretty much, pretty much anything now without a release date is like destined to be delayed. I mean, there's probably some small indie stuff that can still come out, but majority of like if it's sitting on your app like mine is without a solid 2023 release date, it's not coming out this year.
I bet you a lot of those like smaller indie games that are like kind of waiting on a release date, they're almost waiting for like all the release dates to solidify and then go, okay, we're safe to release right here. You know, like Hollow Knight Silksong, which is coming out this year, baby.
Yeah, December 31st.
No, it's gonna be earlier than that. No, guys, come on. Fusion's not here. I have to be the one to shout out this game, okay? Little faith. Moving on.
Sounds like it'll be good anyways.
Okay, Bench, that's enough. Quiet. Moving on. Noble over on Twitter has this friend of the show. AJ Anuma told Famitsu that there is no plan for a Zelda Tears of the Kingdom DLC via DeepL. This time we do not plan to release any additional content because we feel that we have exhausted the possibilities of creating fun in that world. So there was a lot of thoughts on this. Dark over here is taking so many victory laps because of this headline.
Fucking told all of you that this shit was not gonna get DLC, and nobody believed me. I was getting so much shit for this take.
Hang on, I'm gonna say it. He's lying.
What you on about?
He's lying. There's gonna be DLC.
He's
not gonna say, "Oh yeah, we have DLC." In it.
There's gonna be updates, but there's no master mode or anything yet, which they're gonna add it in. They're gonna leave it without. So there'll be a free update. I don't know when the fuck it will be. There'll be a free update that probably adds some outfits, maybe a mission or two in master mode. But besides that, there ain't gonna be like any paid expansions or anything.
There will be paid DLC launching with the Switch 2 version of Tears of the Kingdom. You heard it here first.
He's spitting. He's spitting. That's a slice of gaming inside source. Yeah. The bigger podcast gonna want to add that to the rumor mill. Just saying, because 100% certified facts.
Insider on this small podcast called Slice of Gaming had this big breaking news story.
Exactly. Yeah, this is how we grow.
I think Nintendo will not charge upgrades for everything, but I think they could justify a $10 Tears of the Kingdom upgrade or something, or DLC or something. So I think the Tears of the Kingdom, we may not get DLC until the end of next year after that, but it'll get DLC. They're gonna have their hands on new hardware and see what they can do, and they're not gonna be able to resist.
We got new hardware. We're making new games. Who gives a shit about these old games? They're here if you want to play them.
I love the idea that they get the new hardware. It's like, I need to make DLC. Anuma, please. I don't know. I think there's still a chance at DLC. I wouldn't say this is like a set in stone. DLC is completely off the table. That's all I'll say.
But do you know what else is getting paid DLC?
What's up? Nice. I was gonna do the segue bench, but okay. But speaking of DLC, Final Fantasy 16 is getting DLC. Hooray! Final Fantasy 16. This comes from Sal Romano over at Gamatsu. 2 paid DLCs and PC version in development. Free update now available. Square Enix has released a free update for Final Fantasy 16, which adds a weapon skin feature, onion sword weapon, and new outfits for Clive, Jill, Torgal, and other characters. As well as announced that both a PC version and 2 paid downloadable contents are currently in development, with more information to come before the end of 2023. This came from actually what's his name? Naoki Yoshida. He had like a cool video and everything. But yeah, outlining everything.
Yeah, they had a really cool PAX panel. I recommend watching it. It with some of the voice actors and the translator. And it was just very fun. I'd recommend checking it out.
But yeah, FF16 DLC. I'm not excited, but Bench,
we will be
you're
playing.
Excited.
We will be playing. I don't even expect this.
Who's we?
I mean, one of them would be next year. There's several things they can touch on, like little hints left on throughout the game that they could. Like, I think we may get one DLC with like Clive in the gang, and then something like a Xenoblade DLC, where a whole different cast of characters, a whole different like kind of gameplay style, and it's more of a standalone thing.
It's interesting,
which is exciting.
It's interesting though, because no spoilers or anything. The way that the game ends off, it kind of doesn't really open the room for DLC.
I don't think it's going to be a sequel. DLC. It won't be a sequel. It'll be what's gonna happen. It'll be a prequel. It'll just be a prequel.
Like it'll happen during the story instead of after.
I think it'll happen before the story we have. I mean, we could have. There's a couple things they tease. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it, but there is
what happens in 16. There's something that they left pretty open-ended. That's very easy for them to make a DLC on.
I mean, they can make they say 2 paid DLCs, but what if it's just like a 2-parter DLC? You never know. We just don't know enough. We just know it's coming.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's just good to get confirmation, I guess.
I mean, the fact that they're pumping DLC, while we know Square said it wasn't super successful, they had to have seen some success in it to warrant DLC.
FF15 had a shit ton of DLC, and then one of them got canceled. Not one of them, actually, a good amount of them got canceled. No, we're not starting this FF15, right? I know what you want to say.
The game wasn't finished, and the characters weren't fleshed out, so they put DLC.
Yeah, it was weird, though, because they straight up, there was like 3 DLCs that got canceled, or something like that.
The FF16 DLC and FF15 DLC, they're kind of like 2 different kinds of DLC, because this is them like wanting to make it and just going back into the world because positive fan reception. FF15, they needed to salvage what they had and actually make a good game, which I don't think is good, but you know what I'm trying to say.
He doesn't think it's good, yes.
He gets so much fucking hate. Holy shit, bro.
You just gotta be like me and think all Final Fantasies are bad, you know? Pretty bad franchise, just saying. Sorry, you had something to say?
When we can segue into more DLC.
Alright, well, let's segue into more DLC then. Okay. This is our first podcast, by the way. Sorry about this, everyone. This comes from Rock Paper Shotgun. Sea of Stars devs working on a DLC and next game is Throwback RPG sells a year's worth of copies in 1 week. Matt Jarvis wrote this over there. Sea of Stars devs, Sabotage Studios, have confirmed that they're already working on DLC for their warmly received love letter to classic RPGs, along with their next standalone game. Helping them along the way is Sea of Stars' fantastic reception, which has seen the game sell a year's worth of copies in just 1 week. This game seems to be doing extremely well right now. I mean, Dark, is the room open for DLC? You're the only one who beat the game.
Don't know how they'll handle DLC, if I'm being
Well,
honest.
I mean,
So I'm
isn't
very
it connected
curious.
to the Messenger? Isn't the Messenger like a prequel?
It's
Their
the world
previous
as a
game is
game?
messenger.
I think this
So
game's a
they can
prequel to
always
the
do
Messenger.
something.
But the way
So
that the
they can
game
always do
ends,
something.
especially the true ending, is pretty like clear cut. There's like very little room for anything. I don't really know how they're gonna do it, but I am very interested. I'm glad the game's been doing well. It deserves it.
The DLC is gonna be they go back to the messenger and you just play the messenger in Sea of Stars. Like it's the entire game in Sea of Stars. Honestly, that'd be based. I respect the hell out of them for that.
This game is before the Messenger, so they will go to the fucking Messenger.
Yeah, that'd be sick as
Speaking
hell.
of the Messenger, speaking of the Messenger, I just bought it.
Hell yeah.
Bench
Hell
spending
yeah.
more money.
It's
Thank you
$5
for
on
the.
eShop.
Oh shit, is it? Well, I don't like
Yeah.
the Switch.
So I think I'll play this before Sea of Stars.
Messenger is fucking incredible half of the time, and then they changed the gameplay style about halfway through, and I never actually beat it because I was so upset. Like it was still good, but I was upset that they changed the gameplay style. So I'm like, I don't care anymore. I'm petty like
You gotta
that.
say though, the big takeaway here is that it's sold 250,000 copies already, and yet it's on both subscription services, and yet it's still sold 250,000, which is kind of crazy
Switch?
to think about.
A lot of people.
Yeah,
wanted
it's
to
got to
play
be all
Switch
on. It's
for
got to
that.
be mostly on Switch.
I wonder if it hits a mil. That's a pretty insane number for an indie game, but like I feel like if any game could do it,
I think it will. I mean, it's been out what, like a week?
A week and a half.
yeah,
2 weeks.
I think it will.
because I remember it was
You
same
know,
week as
whenever you
Starfield.
have, I mean, I think there's been enough showcase. Whenever you make a game like a homage to old JRPGs, people normally show up. Your target audience is going to be there no matter what.
The weirdos, yeah.
I still need to play. I mean, I bought Chained Echoes and I bought Sea of Stars, yet I haven't played them. I just need to finish
He
this
bought-
damn
just buy
Trails
everything.
series. This
He-
damn
he's just
Trails
buying
series is keeping me from playing the
must be
games I
making
want to
money.
play.
It's not like it's holding you hostage. Wait, hang on. Bro's
It
thinking
is.
Trails is holding him hostage.
I just need to finish it so I can play Persona 4 as well.
I just love the idea. It's like, nah, I need to beat Trails for Persona 4. Like this is
Well,
like
I just-
holding him.
I don't want to get invested whenever I need to. I literally have one game left. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, that's fair. One 40-hour RPG. God, I swear, I don't know how you people do it. I play one JRPG and I swear off the genre for like a month. Moving on. This is just a funny news story. If you guys want a good laugh, I'd recommend reading this. Tom Ivan over at VGC, Skull and Bones loses third creative director, reportedly still without a release date. Ubisoft Singapore is also facing an organized labor campaign. According to Kotaku, the oft-delayed pirate game has lost its third creative director, Elizabeth Pellin, who had been responsible for rebooting a project that was originally meant to be released in. Just take a guess what year this was meant to be released. Actually, you guys can read the article too. You probably have it up.
2018.
Oh, okay, Moon. You got that?
No.
Did you read the article for that?
No, I just said a random date.
Oh, okay. You actually got it right then. Yeah, released in 2018. Skull and Bones had a closed beta test last month and is officially scheduled to launch during the publisher's current fiscal year ending in March 2024. However, Kotaku sources say a release date has yet to be nailed down internally. I just want to point out, this game was meant to be released back like the same week as God of War Ragnarok. I remember that. And now it's just in limbo, still without a release date, supposedly this fiscal year. I'll just ask the question: does this game ever get released?
Yeah, I will.
I mean, they have to eventually.
Aren't they in some sort of
Song.
commitment with like a government for money that they have to like release it?
Yeah, it's the Singapore government because they receive funding from the Singaporean government, and the way that the law works, they need to release the game or release something.
Yeah.
This is just a weird
He's just
freaking game.
This is gonna be a great episode with Bad Big Muscles later.
Yeah, right. I get it. That's good. Mammoth Muscle's gonna have a fun time trying to recount the history of this game. I still remember that initial reveal trailer and thinking, "Wow, this game looks awesome! I can't wait."
Still waiting.
Turns out I can wait.
You can't go on land, right?
I think you still can't go on. It is such a stupid freaking game when you really think about it, because it's just the ship combat from Assassin's Creed 4, and it's like, no, Assassin's Creed 4 was good because it was ship combat and you could do land stuff. Why did you just forget about the land stuff? Like, I want to be a pirate. Pirates aren't just ships. Whatever. I don't care. This game is dumb. If it releases, it's gonna be garbage. That's all I'll say. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for the news-wise. We do have a topic. This is just going to be a quick one. I just wanted to talk about the Nintendo Direct. Obviously, nothing has been announced yet. We're not that much on the dial. We don't have a scoop that the Nintendo Direct is coming out next week or anything, but we have reasons to believe that it will be next week. That, like, you hear a lot of sources. Nintendo Directs usually happen in September, and it seems like everything's kind of gearing up for a Nintendo Direct to happen. And we kind of wanted to be ahead of the poll, so we didn't want to do like emergency predictions like we did last time. We wanted to actually like be right here for them when it comes out. So I guess I'll just like ask the panel, like, do you guys think a Nintendo Direct happens next week or even this month at all?
Yeah, next week for sure.
I think I don't know about next week specifically, but I think this month is pretty likely. They want to do their one last push of holiday, like solidify their holiday calendar. I mean, what else could they be putting out? Or who knows? But the fact that we already know about RPG and Wonder, and like we still have one more Direct, so there's got to be something. Maybe it's just a bunch of updates and some smaller releases.
I'd say it's next week because they probably don't want a massive Tokyo Game Show. Nintendo very much likes having the spotlight.
Exactly. They want to like. I mean, they're gonna have the spotlight no matter what, even if it happened like right during Tokyo Game Show. But I definitely understand where you're coming from. I guess I'll just go across the list. Bench actually wrote down predictions. I'm so proud of him. So, what's your first prediction, bud?
I think it opens with Fire Emblem, the remake that's been rumored for a long time.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Genealogy of the Holy War, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What a name.
I have a log
so
list,
cool.
so I can keep going down if you want.
No, I mean, if you want to talk about Fire Emblem real quick, like, or across the panel, like, do we think Fire Emblem shows up here? I mean, this close to Engage, but also, like, this game's been in development around the exact same time as Engage, so it's clear, like,
it's
pretty
possible
far.
If this Direct seems to be more. Granted, I'm now contradicting myself, because maybe this Direct isn't about the holiday season. Maybe it's for everything afterwards, starting 2024. So
I think
that's what I think.
If the Direct is more focused on that, and if Genealogy is ready as they're ready, like they're gonna pull another Engage and do like a January, February release, then yeah, I could totally be here.
I actually do think it's 2024 focused. I think we get slight updates to remind us Mario Wonder, Mario RPG are coming, but I think for the most part it's focused on games we don't know about, or like the Peach game and Dark Moon and
exactly. Because if it was just this year, we would literally just get Mario RPG and Mario Wonder and Pokemon DLC for 40 minutes.
And fashion designer.
Oh my god! Yeah, I'm such an idiot. How did I forget? But no, like I think it's clear like this Direct would be focused on like their early 2024 at the very least. Bench, you had more predictions. You're the only one who wrote down predictions. I think so. I want to run through them quick.
I think Square Enix shows up with Dragon Quest III Remake and the FF Tactics Remaster, shows them off here, and then goes more in depth on their own at Tokyo Game Show the following week.
I can see that. I want to start first with Dragon Quest III. That game was revealed a long time ago. I think like
2021. Summer 2021. Okay. So yeah. I think we could get earlier mid 2024 release date for that, or like window. So and then I think really the Peach game will get named. I won't get a date.
Whoa! You don't gotta roll through them all. Okay. I want to stick with Dragon Quest. And what was the other? Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, I think remaster. That could be this year. To be honest, I think that could be a pretty quick release.
That's like one of the last games on the Nvidia leak that still hasn't been revealed yet. Kingdom Hearts 4 got revealed before that game. I just want to bring that out.
It's that and Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is here.
2 games? Yeah.
There's not only 2 games that have not been shown.
That is interesting. That is crazy.
And Square Enix, at the beginning of the year, mentioned that they have like one more thing to show like 16 and shit. So this would line up.
Yeah, so it's either Tactics or FF9 then. Yeah, I think Tactics would be here though. That's actually a good prediction. I keep forgetting that game. So is it going to be like a remaster? Like I guess what was that? Tactics Ogre style remaster? You think it's going to be more similar to that than HD2D?
I think so. I think it's Tactics Ogre. I think they put a little bit more effort into it. I think it won't be full HD2D, but it won't just be a simple remaster. I think it'll be maybe in the vein of the Metroid Prime kind of thing.
It'll add stuff from War of the Lions, which I think that was like the enhanced version of FF Tactics. Like they'll probably have content from there too. Yeah,
I didn't like Triangle Strategy, so I've heard this is better. So bring it on.
I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. So moving on. God, what was it? Your next prediction? Peach game?
The
Peach.
Peach game. I think that gets named.
That was still one of the. You guys ever think about how funny it was that they just like revealed a Peach game without any info? They just said, "Yep,
without a name,
we're doing it." it's like holy shit. Peach?
They really wanted that like crazy 1, 2, 3 punch of like Mario titles of like, here's Mario RPG, here's a Peach game, here's Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, and it's like, but they were so in early development of the Peach game that like, yeah, it's like we really shouldn't be showing this, but we want that cool 1, 2, 3 punch for the direct.
I mean, looking at it, it didn't look that like early in development. Like you got to remember, Tears of the Kingdom went a way longer than you would expect without a name. So I think Nintendo I think they like waiting to name stuff. Weirdly enough, maybe the Peach game has spoilers in the title. Who knows?
To be fair, Nintendo's just dumb of Zelda's title.
Sorry, Dark Goo, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that Nintendo is just being secretive with Zelda's title for no real reason, but it doesn't spoil anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's like whatever. That's a whole conversation in itself. But I don't know. The Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. That's also an interesting thing. Like, would that be here?
Yeah, I think it gets dated.
If it's an early 2024, like the first half, then yeah, I'd probably say it gets dated.
Dark Moon. That is an interesting game.
I like it.
It's good. It's definitely the weakest of the Luigi's Mansions, but it's still a good game.
The only thing is, it's gonna have trouble competing with 3 and how good that looked.
I mean, all Switch games struggle competing looking like 3. Like 3 is one of the best looking Switch games easily.
It's so good. It's also just so good.
Yeah, it's an amazing game. No, it's interesting. Like, I guess that's kind of everything that we know about right now.
I mean, do we want to talk about the leaks that came along with it today?
Oh man. Okay.
Well, I think. Well, I still have some games. I have a couple things. I think we see Prime 4. I think Prime 4 and
Prime. No,
now you're reaching for the stars.
Yeah,
I think Prime 4's the opener.
No, guys, come on.
Keep in mind. So keep in mind,
that's the launch title for the Switch too.
No. Thanks to
Twilight
Mario.
Princess and Wind Waker 4 show up.
Wait, okay, let Dark talk about Prime 4 before you continue talking about what's constructing the greatest direct ever, apparently. Go ahead, Dark.
I think Prime 4 is the opener just because the Switch is nearing the end of its life cycle. If the Switch 2 is coming out next year, they're going to show it off. I don't think it's a launch title. I think the next 3D Mario is going to be the launch title. It just makes sense for Nintendo, especially since we haven't seen what that studio has been up to this point. So yeah.
I don't think we see 3D Mario.
I don't think we see 3D Mario either, but like, I mean, that's a fair enough one because like that's a Switch 2 game.
They're gonna show Prime 4.
Oh, I want it so badly.
They're gonna show very little of it. They're gonna show Prime 4. They're gonna give it like a month, and then they're gonna be like Metroid Prime 2 and 3.
They're gonna give it a logo again.
You're gonna give it a second.
Yeah,
logo.
Prime 2 and 3. I think for sure are gonna be there.
I think Twilight Princess and Wind Waker get shadow dropped. I think we're playing that.
Shadow dropped.
Okay.
What?
Shout out to Jeff Grubb and Mike Minotti, who also predicted this and came out with egg on their face. Listen, we're a new podcast. We don't want to like immediately have egg on our face because we predicted Twilight Princess and Wind Waker again.
I mean, maybe the drop about it
like
shadow dropped.
2 more things.
Bench, Bench, we gotta sit with these predictions. He's just like firing them at a machine gun at us. Like, real quick, I want to talk about Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. No chance in hell that this is here.
It's here.
I think it can be there. I don't think
No,
it'll be shadow dropped.
I don't think they exist. I just don't
It'd be
think they
dumb not to
exist.
have to
I think they
exist.
would wait till Switch 2 for that. It'd be
For
dumb,
what?
yeah. You know Nintendo.
And then
They don't really do the most logical things in the world. That's all I'll say.
Kid Icarus Uprising comes back.
Oh my god, what is this director making?
Bro is secretly
all
crafting the world's best direct.
these
what
are
about?
things we've been hearing, so they make sense to be there. And then
So what's next? Mother 4?
no NSO games, and then the final Mario Kart DLC.
Final Mario Kart DLC, I do think is there. NSO games. I mean, it's just
Golden
NSO games
Sun.
have been fucking pissing me off as of late, man. 'Cause they keep acting like they don't have any more games left, but like there's a bunch of N64 games and GBA games that they've revealed but haven't released.
Yeah, I think we see a chunk of those here.
I pray.
Plus,
That's what I'm.
Maybe they add like a new DLC to the
A DLC for what?
like a DLC from an old title just to add to the expansion pass.
I mean, yeah, I could see that.
Like maybe some
maybe
Splatoon
an
3
old
DLC.
Yeah, because Splatoon 3 keeps getting DLC.
guess
Actually, they had a Splatoon 3 DLC revealed.
Yeah,
I don't think it
that'll
ever
get dated.
released.
No, it's,
Yeah,
I
probably
think
going to be
it's
part of the
next year,
expansion pack.
but yep.
That's all your 4chan predictions.
I think all of them are pretty likely.
Okay,
think the
okay.
next-
We'll be lucky to get 2 of them. I'll say that.
I think Nintendo's really gonna blow out on the next direct or two because they got to get everything out.
No, they're gonna
See,
blow
here's
on the direct that happens right before the Switch 2 launches.
Yeah, that's my thing.
I
They're
think-
going to wait till the
but-
Switch 2 happens before they blow out.
We're
is
gonna get
kinda
a
like
bunch of
setting
ports
their-
and remasters to fill out the calendar.
And that's
Exactly.
like all I was saying. That's like everything I was saying. But I do
Yeah,
think
but-
Dark was saying 3D Mario. I don't think that's until next summer when they announce the next. They'll announce that and then new Switch along with
Well, I
it.
don't think that they'll show the
Yeah,
next
I don't
3D
think
Mario. I
saying
think
that. Yeah.
I'm just saying that the next Switch launch titles will be 3D Mario. I don't think they're gonna show it
Which
yet.
I believe.
Yeah.
I
I
still
agree.
think Metro Prime 4 is a launch title.
Nah,
I think they're
it's
waiting.
I think it's on this.
That's just, man, I've been like, I don't know where they've been with that Prime 4. I do think Prime 2 and 3 are going to definitely be here, though, because those
Prime
are
4 would be the
reported
perfect
for this year.
segue for 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's true. I don't. You guys just don't make me believe. Don't make me believe. What if they just showed a logo again? That'd be so based, honestly. I would
Fucking
respect the hell out of it.
A logo in a month.
Not even a
Not
month,
even
not
a
just a
month.
logo.
Not even a month. Just be
Alright, we
like,
got-
here's the new updated logo to Metroid Prime 4.
It's gonna
We
be
also
red.
get
as
the
hell.
realization. We also get the realization Prime 4 is $70.
Nah, they wouldn't reveal that here. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom was $70, so I think people would be less surprised.
Case by case basis. So
Yeah. Now, I want to bring up a rumor that's been happening that I do not believe in the slightest. People keep saying there's a Donkey Kong game coming. I don't believe it, but people
anyone
very
said this,
much
though.
seem to believe it.
That's what the
No, okay.
longest running rumor that the Mario Odyssey team has been working on since Odyssey
Yeah,
released.
that's my viewpoint. You're gonna have the Mario Odyssey team make like the best-selling 3D Mario game, and then just go like, okay, make a Donkey Kong game. Like that's just such a waste of that team's talents. Like I feel like you would want them to work on a new 3D Mario or a new Odyssey 2. Why would you waste it on Donkey Kong? Like I'm not saying I hate Donkey Kong, but I just think
You hate Donkey Kong.
No, okay, I kind of hate how much love Donkey Kong gets. I don't know why Nintendo fans are adamant that Donkey Kong like country games are like the pinnacle of platformers. They're fine. They are all fine games. Tropical Freeze, most overrated fucking platformer ever made. It is a good game, but people act like it fucking changed the way platformers would be made forever. No, it's just a good game, guys. Let's fucking calm down. But yeah, so this is all to say that I don't think Donkey Kong's here.
I do want to
there's
say
too much smoke to not be a fire, but I don't know if it's here.
the person who leaked Mario Wonder is leaking Donkey Kong.
No, anyone could leak Mario Wonder. But like, was he saying
Nobody did.
specifically Mario Wonder? Or just said no. I did like, how did he leak it? That's the thing, because
will
everyone
have to
keeps
go
saying
back
he
and look
leaked it, but
exactly.
like he could have just said a new 2D Mario. Yeah, go look for it. I want to know because like this Everyone's saying like this guy, he was the one who changed the world. But I bet you all he said was, "Oh, new 2D Mario game is in development. It's gonna be at this direct." Like that's
Given how he leaks
that's
things,
not
he
a
probably
leak.
just
That's
feels
just a
like a gift from
prediction.
Mario. Let's see. I'm going through his account right now.
I don't know. I just personally, I don't believe that you would use the resources of that 3D Mario game to like honestly to waste them on a Donkey Kong game because Donkey Kong is not going to sell as well as Mario. That's just a fact.
Maybe they want to try to make him big, make him a bigger franchise.
Yeah, but it's
Be fair.
like they've tried that before.
To be fair, Metroid was never a big seller, and they came out with Dread, and Dread kind of like changed everything. So they could easily do this with Donkey Kong.
Okay, but here's the thing: with Dread, they used Mercury Steam, which is like another developer. Like, Mercury Steam.
It's the main developer
It's
now.
not like they're tiny. Yeah, that's the thing. But like, that's not the Odyssey team. That's not like the premier franchise for Nintendo, and using like their best team on a Donkey Kong game. Like, I just feel like it's a waste of resources almost. Obviously, nothing's a waste. At the end of the day, if this game comes out and it's a banger, then like I'll just what's the saying? I'll eat something. I don't know. I'll admit I'm wrong. That's all I'll say. But like, I just don't believe this rumor. I guess I'm like the crazy one though.
An update on the guy's account, I did find it, is from way back. He said, in case you were wondering, in bold letters, what games will be announced in next week's Direct. A new 2D Mario. And he starts listing off everything else that was there. He very much knew it beforehand.
No,
wondering
he just
in
said
bold
wondering.
letters. In bold letters, wonder is bolded.
All I'll say is that maybe he got lucky. maybe he got lucky. Where did this guy come from? Did he just spawn in?
Nowhere. He came like a month before he posted that.
What else did he predict? 2D Mario and what else?
He actually it's not even predict. He just straight up said a bunch of stuff. He's Samba de Amigo. Everybody wants to Switch. Sonic Superstar. This guy's list is crazy.
Okay. All those games were already known to like release.
These are
obviously those would be in the Direct. No, because that was in the. When was this? This was the June Direct, right?
I think I was thinking.
I'm starting to think Moon was right. Maybe I do hate Donkey Kong because I really don't want this to be true.
What else did he leaked? A bunch of stuff. NSO news he leaked.
I don't know.
He leaked the Mario Direct.
Maybe. Eat hay? Is that the phrase? I'm still thinking about what the phrase is.
Yakuza,
is that
bro.
It?
How does he know about Yakuza?
I don't know, man.
Man's too powerful. He can't be kept alive.
I guess an interesting rumor that's also been kind of rolling around is F-Zero GX. There would be a port of that game.
The same guy, mind you.
From the same guy?
Yeah, same guy.
No, it's not happening. Never mind, it's not happening.
I can tell you exactly what he said too. Let me find it right now. He said, let's just say fans of a certain MATLAB function will be happy with the upcoming Direct. And if you didn't know, F-Zero is a function in MATLAB.
Did he say now? Wait, did he? When was this tweet?
Like
today.
Yesterday at 6 a.m.
Yesterday, along with the Donkey Kong rumor.
Yeah.
Oh my god. If that stupid fucking ape appears in this
and
Direct,
there's even more.
Upset.
Somebody asked if there would be more information on the Peach game. He said yes.
I mean, no, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna be all in this Direct. That's all I'll say. F-Zero GX, though, I do think it's actually gonna be here. I think that's
some kind of like remaster, I guess, because it won't be on an SSO because it's a GameCube game.
It'll be an overpriced port. That's all it'll be. I mean, actually, Metroid Prime was like what, $40, I think. So like, yeah, actually, I think they would probably release F-Zero for like $40 as well, kind of like slight enhancements graphically, same way as Metroid Prime did. That'd be crazy.
It'll come to NSO, but he's not teasing it. Not sure what the fuck that means.
What comes to NSO?
So in response to like F-Zero, people figured out what he was talking about. Obviously,
how is it on
people
NSO?
Thought it was a game. People said it was going to be a Game Boy Advance F-Zero. And he said it's not, but it's coming to NSO. So I don't. I'm not familiar with F-Zero, so I don't know.
I think it's full shit. No, because that's a GameCube game.
This is a very hard to be full of shit. Like, this guy's track record.
Well, wait. I'm just saying, like a game coming onto
Boy.
NSO.
So he's just soft confirming they're adding GameCube to NSO.
No,
No, there's
GameCube.
not.
There's a
There
Game Boy
is.
Advance F-Zero.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
no,
there is.
that was like the last F-Zero game released.
Yeah, I'm posting an image of it right now. There is a Game
Well, you don't
Boy
have to post it. I know about it. He
That's
said it
probably
wasn't the
F-Zero.
GBA F-Zero game. This was only in Japan too. I remember this.
He said it will come to NSO, but he's not teasing it, which is indirectly teasing it.
Wait,
So I don't know.
it's
It
weird
makes no
because
sense what he
F-Zero
just said there.
X is on it. Okay, this doesn't make sense. So so right now there's an F-Zero on the SNES, there's an F-Zero on the N64, the GameCube, and the Game Boy Advance. 4 platforms. He is either teasing the GBA game is coming onto NSO or the GameCube game. But now he's saying that it's not the GBA game. So now I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. What is this guy's
here's
name?
hold up, I think you confused. He said that that the fans of F-Zero are gonna be happy. That's what he said. He didn't say if it's gonna be a new game, if it's gonna be a port. Somebody asked, well, not asked, but somebody said if there's gonna be news about F-Zero is gonna be just an NSO game. He said that's not what it is, but there is coming to NSO. So it's something
wait, there's
else.
something coming to NSO. Okay, so it's
There's
not
something
F-Zero.
F-Zero related.
Maybe
No,
it's
this
both.
isn't
Maybe
reference to
maybe there's a
F-Zero.
remaster of GX and the Game Boy Advance game goes to NSO.
I think there's a
Maybe
new
it's
game.
both.
It seems like he's teasing a new game.
There's no way there's a new game. They want to test the waters with GX first before they make a new game.
From what I'm understanding, he's saying there's a new game and there's NSO stuff happening.
I do think a new F-Zero game would be cool, especially a battle royale with F-Zero.
Anything other than Mario Kart, we're winning.
Oh, dude, honestly, oh my god, I am so sick of Mario Kart.
Give me more Mario Kart.
No, please.
They're gonna shadow drop Mario Kart 9 one day. This would be dirt up.
I guess Moon, I'm gonna ask you, Pokemon DLC, is that gonna be here?
It's hard to say because the first one. Well, it depends if it's like right before the DLC drops in like a week or so. The DLC comes out. Then
No,
probably
it's
just
not
like
a
as a reminder, like just like hey, remember go buy the Pokemon DLC. Then let's see. Oh yeah, it's out in 4 days. So now, granted, they have also done.
Well, by the time it's gonna be released,
it's gonna be released, so it's possible. But at the same time, there could just be a refresher, like, "Hey, remember the DLC is out now? Go buy it." It could be just that, with maybe like another tease of what Part 2 was like. But anything beyond that, no, there's not gonna be nothing Pokemon related here.
any like spinoffs or anything, or no? Just nothing
Nah,
Pokemon?
that Pokemon Presents does their own thing. Nintendo doesn't announce Pokemon's new stuff; they just do updates.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe like a DLC trailer. That's really it.
Yeah, just a reminder, like, hey, DLC out now, and then Part 2 coming. Maybe they date Part 2. That's possible, but that's about it.
That's probably it. No. I guess any last minute predictions, things you guys want to get off your chest?
I can't stop thinking about Kid Icarus now.
Kid Icarus is not real. That game doesn't exist.
I know. I'm sad.
I'm sorry. Like, I love Uprising. Phenomenal game. I'm gonna say the phrase, one of my favorite games of all time. But there's no way it's real. There's no way they actually do a port of that game. Bring it from 3DS to Switch. I want it. It's not happening.
That was just a brand new game altogether.
How do I tell you, Moon?
Just break my heart right now.
Well, the thing is, like, Kid Icarus was like a Sakurai thing, and Sakurai clearly, he said even himself, he's like semi-retired basically. So like, I don't think he's making any new games now, and I think they want to wait to find like a good person who's a fit for Kid Icarus, because like oh my god, that is a tongue twister. Kid Icarus Uprising, like that entire script was done by Sakurai, if I remember. Like he very much put his heart and soul into that game. So switching like a new creative director, like it's not going to be that simple. It's the same thing with Smash Brothers.
He's going to be working on the next Smash Brothers game.
They're going to be like Sakurai gave us his approval. Here's the new Kid Icarus.
He's just going to be like a creative consultant.
Yeah, I mean that's
Exactly.
I could see that at least. I just don't think it would be anytime soon for a new Kid Icarus, even though I want it. I want it so badly. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Like, I'm trying to think of other Nintendo franchises. Star Fox is a dead franchise. Can we like stop pretending like it's actually relevant? Like, it doesn't exist. So
dead.
stop trying to will that into existence. Star
rest
Fox Zero was a fucking failure. All right. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So yeah, I mean, I guess just excitement for the direct. Bench thinks it's gonna be the greatest direct of all time. So hey, shout out to him. I respect it. But yeah, I guess we can move on into what we've been playing. I'll
Not
start.
Starfield.
Oh no, I've been playing Starfield.
Don't say.
Okay, so Starfield. My thoughts have updated quite a bit. So I was like 10 hours last time we talked. Now I'm at around 40 hours, give or take. My thoughts on Starfield have both changed and also been solidified. I think the game still suffers from the lack of exploration. I still think just planet hopping is not a thing. I don't like exploring when I actually do it. It's the same bullshit for like every single planet. I tried a few more times after the podcast, and guess what? I still found nothing on any of those planets. It's just not interesting. I did, however, take what Bench said into heart and actually shift the way I actually started playing the game. And I played it a lot more like a Mass Effect. And a lot of people actually compared this game more to Mass Effect 1 than Skyrim. And I think that's a very apt comparison because like I think the game very much wants you to do the quest line, go from objective to objective, lots of fast traveling, lots of loading screens, but I am enjoying the game more in that regard. I think Bethesda has never really suffered when it comes to like quest line, like quest dialogue. For the most part, Fallout 4 had some issues with its main quest, but even then, like it's still like good writing all overall for each of their games. And I think Starfield really continues that tradition. I did the Freestar Rangers. I love that quest line. You see Vanguard. I thought they were a ton of fun. But one quest line that I didn't technically finish was Ryujin Industries. This quest line was absolute dog shit and also just again solidified a lot of my takes on this game where that whole quest line was just the same crap of you're picking pockets, you're talking to people with the dumb persuasion minigame, which I didn't talk about a lot. The persuasion minigame is fucking garbage. It's stupid and it's never fun whenever I have to do it. But yeah, no, just in general, it's just a quest line full of like uninteresting. It's just not interesting. I don't like the quest line at all from a story perspective, writing perspective, anything. I saw what they were going for. They wanted a more corporate espionage types like building, and I thought that was interesting. But I don't know, it just didn't do anything for me. But at the very end of the quest line, all I had to do was talk to this reporter guy, deliver information, and that would pretty much end the quest. I would be done with Ryujin Industries once and for all. The game glitched, and this is apparently a very common glitch. I looked online. The reporter guy was like 7,000 miles away from New Atlantis and like 7,000 miles deep underground. So I couldn't talk to him. And because of that, I tried reloading saves, like reloading the area, all that. And he just doesn't appear. He's just gone, and I cannot talk to him to finish the quest. So I think I have to wait for a patch at this point. And that's fucking ridiculous that we're still having these issues with these questline bugs. Because I never minded like the weird, like the bugs, like kind of the janky physics of the game and everything. But like when you start messing with like saves and progress and like me not being able to beat a quest because the game fucked up, that is genuinely infuriating. I was not in a good mood after that. And after I played Starfield here and there, and it's like I'm gonna beat the game. Like I do think I will at least finish the story and everything, and I still need to do the pirate quest line. But overall, this game it's just solidified my take. I am very disappointed in it.
All I'm hearing is Armored Core is better.
Armored Core is 1,000% better. It is a way better fucking video game. What's it called? Dark, you actually beat Starfield. I want to hear your takes on it.
Yeah, so I not only beat Starfield, I completed all the main faction quests, and I did a bunch of other side shit. My thoughts remain the same, if not better on it than from last time. I really do enjoy Starfield and everything it accomplished. It's his own game. Like, I'm not... You have to go into it with the mindset that it's not... This is not your Fallout, Skyrim, or Elder Scrolls. It's very much his own thing, and I think it does what it does well. I know a lot of people have issues with exploration. I haven't had the same issues. I've actually been having a blast exploring and like seeing. So like, when you travel to different parts of the planets, they have vastly different like environments and stuff, which I find really interesting and shit. In terms of the main story, it's probably the best that Bethesda has written, even though it does get a little bit trippy and like weird at times.
I heard about that.
Yeah, it does get a little bit funky, but it is still the best story that they've created. In terms of the factions, I do agree Ryujin Industries is probably the worst faction. But the last mission is really cool, and you get a pretty cool reward for it, in my opinion. If you want to know what the
Yeah, and I
best
can't
faction
get that
is,
reward.
it is 100%, without a doubt, the pirate quest line is 100%
Yeah,
the
I
best.
hear that.
They went above and beyond with that one.
People really hype up the I forget what they're called even. I just call them the pirates, but
Crimson
people really Crimson Fleet. Yeah, the problem is like I want to finish getting married to what's her name, Andrea. I want to finish that like whole thing of us being married. That way I can abandon her so she doesn't have to see me become a pirate and just take Vasco along for those missions.
Yeah, so something I do want to mention, I'm not sure if it's a bug or not. It takes a super long time to like have a romance kick off. Keep in mind, for me, and I have about
wild.
40 to 60 hours. I don't know the exact time. I'm up there. I completed the main storyline and all 4 faction quests before I was able to complete a romance, which seems absurd to me.
That is... Yeah, no, it's weird because it's like they keep she'll talk to me. It's just like having a conversation. It's like, okay, here we go. Now I can start flirting, and there's just no flirt option. It's like, am I not good enough for you? Like it's weird because in Skyrim it was so funny. You could just wear an amulet or Mara, and you're like, oh, okay, let's do it.
That's all it takes. I don't know how you like play your Bethesda games, but I'm always super high in like I love the skill check, so my persuasion is always like to the max. So for me in Starfield, the persuasion check's like a blast, but I will be manipulating the crap out of everybody to do what I feel like.
My problem with the persuasion checks is that it doesn't really feel like I'm trying to maneuver around them, like from a dialogue standpoint, like trying to like play to their strength. It really feels like I'm just like taking 50-50 chances and seeing like what will actually get me like the bar filled up instead of actually like thinking about my answers and like trying to appeal to the person I'm persuading.
I don't know, because for me it's different. Because it feels like the game like knows what personality each character has and tailors it to it. I don't know what experience you have. This is just my personal experiences.
That's fair. I mean,
I do think
I don't
Starfield
personally
it
think that.
has. Oh, my bad for cutting you off.
Go ahead. No, it's fine. Go ahead.
I think Starfield does have valid criticisms that I can get, but I do think it is getting a bit overhated. Like people are exaggerating its points, in my opinion. If you like Bethesda games, you're probably gonna have a good time with Starfield. It's just not Fallout and Skyrim. They did something completely different. You go with that in mind, you'll have a good time.
And I do want to just like kind of end the Starfield talk with just saying that I don't hate this game. I think it's a great game, actually. I think it's like at this point it's like a 7.5, 8 out of 10 for me. I'm just disappointed. I wanted something out of it. I wanted that exploration, and I didn't get it, and it's fine. Like I got enough good games this year. Maybe I've been spoiled, so it's like take a hit in the gut. It's fair, but yeah, I guess.
I'll probably give it like an 8.5. I will say it's my least favorite of like between Fallout, like Elder Scrolls, and it's probably my least favorite of those because I'm so immersed inside Fallout and Elder Scrolls. So, like I spend,
of course,
a lot of my life with those games.
Yeah,
so it's kind of hard for this game to just like up and top it, but I do think they did a good job.
LS, this is it. Where do you think it's going to be in your GOTY conversation? Like, you think it's going to be in your top 5?
Yes, I do think it'll be in my top. Just because of the games I played this year, I think it'll be in my top 5. Okay. At like number 5, but that's, I don't think
number 5. not being that positive. Interesting. Yeah, it's so.
I have a lot of other games I like more, like Sea of Stars.
I was really thinking this would be like a top 3 minimum for me. Things happen. As then someone who dropped Starfield, which is funny, he dropped Starfield, but he was super positive on it. So this is just
so
hilarious.
Like he drops it before the game even came out, which is crazy.
Like I want to say to the audience first, as Betch says, he literally dropped Starfield within the hour of us finishing the podcast last week.
We finished that podcast.
We were just
and then
talking in
later,
chat.
He downloaded Baldur's Gate.
You guys need to know just how hyped he was for this game pre-launch. He was watching that direct.
Oh my god, I was
so many
losing
times.
my mind. He was more hyped for it than me, and I'm the fucking Bethesda simp.
Yes, you might be wondering why I have not talked about Starfield, and it's because I have not played it since last Friday night. But I have been playing Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm about a little over 20 hours in, still in Act 1, and as someone who plays D&D, this game and loves like turn-based RPGs and fantasy and mature stuff, this game is like my dream game. It is just everything I'd want with the genres I like, the type of gameplay I like. You can't get better than this. The combat fully emulates D&D so well. The characters are very good. The story is very good, and I really like the game.
That's exciting. No, I Baldur's Gate 3 is famously the man who isn't here. Fusion's favorite game that he has never played. So it's interesting we finally got someone who actually played the game to talk about it. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. The way that I will say real quick, the way solidified, like kind of the viewpoints on Baldur's Gate 3 has more solidified. The kind of that initial hype died out, and now it's more like very much solidified that it is a really good game. It wasn't just hyperbole and hype when it came out. I do think it's going to be in the Game Awards talk now. Like I'm pretty certain now.
It is wild that it's just kind of came out of nowhere and just took over, and it's still relevant.
Exactly. Yeah. Dark, you had something to say?
Yeah, I do want to say I've never played D&D before. Like I never had people to play with, and it never like caught my interest. So when this game comes out,
me either.
People like talk about, oh, this game's like D&D. I didn't give two shits about it, for being honest. I was like, oh, cool, good game. I'm glad it did well. Now that Bench, I'm good friends with Bench. Now that he's been telling me about the game, and I trust his opinion on games, I'm very much interested in this game now. And I was talking to Bench about this.
That is so funny.
I mean, you're going D&D is like it's just turn-based combat, but way more in depth. Yeah. That's just what you're getting.
Here's the thing. It's funny you say that, Dark.
Being honest.
Here's the thing. It's funny that you say that because the more Bench talks about it, the less I want to play it because he won't freaking stop talking about it.
But you gotta understand, me and Bench, we have similar tastes in games for the most part. Because when it comes to Final Fantasy, I don't know if this guy, but besides that, we have very similar tastes.
I'd say my tastes are
very happy to try it out when it comes to Xbox
stuff.
I think here's the thing with all of our tastes. I think most of us align, but like we all have like a franchise or a genre that we like that no one else does.
Well, like Moon, I'd say is the only outlier between all five of us.
Holy shit, that is so mean. He's literally right there.
I'm right here.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not.
No,
literally, I
like,
was.
No.
Earlier tonight before the podcast, I was watching Digital Foundry's video on comparing the PS5 version to the PC version. And I'm like, this looks really cool and I could be into it, but then I just kind of just watched the gameplay. I'm like, oh. And I hear all the hours that it takes to play. I'm just like, no, please, no.
Well, it's funny because like I think Moon actually has more similar taste to games with you two than I do with y'all. My tastes are kind of different. I don't know. Like, I guess mainly with JRPGs, I don't know, because like I have very specific JRPG taste. I'm not going to play every JRPG because that genre really frustrates me at times. I love it. I still love JRPGs, but man, there's sometimes where I'm like, do I even like this genre? Versus like a platformer, which I know you guys aren't into. Like that, platformers are my bread and butter. Like that's my favorite genre. So
platformer has to do something really interesting and different for me to be into it. Like that game coming out, Penny's Big Breakaway. Now that looks like a platformer awesome. I could get into.
That looks bad.
No,
you look bad.
You look bad.
Here's the problem with Baldur's Gate fans is that they pretend they're out here always talking about the game and they shit on every other game, and then they pretend they're like, why don't people want to play Baldur's Gate now?
I just don't like 3D platformers a whole lot.
Okay.
When I get into Baldur's Gate, whenever it comes to Xbox, I will not become like this because Trails will always reign supreme. But besides that, I'm very happy.
Oh my god! Here's the problem. Okay, here's the problem. Is that these RPG fans? It's only about these RPGs and no other video game ever exists.
What the fuck are you
just saying? No, I don't like the genre. Actually, I've denounced the genre.
Starfield's really done enough.
Starfield so much.
Starfield's been a.
What the reunion is
I'm gonna play Fallout New Vegas and remember that I actually like RPGs again.
Until you don't like that either.
No, I'm
not like Fallout New Vegas. We were working his Bethesda.
I've played Fallout New Vegas before. I just never beat it. So like, I'll actually like it.
You better fucking beat it, bro. This is a war crime.
I will.
I played like 10 hours ago once you dropped it and never looked back.
Roleplay the
Why am I not surprised?
I can't wait for the Oblivion remake. I can't wait to finally play that game.
Yeah, that's gonna happen in
I'm in the same
2028.
boat with bench because it's little side tangent. I've tried to play Oblivion like through and through multiple times. I can't do it.
I've tried.
It
Yeah, I
has
tried last
not
year.
aged well.
It does not age well. Nope. That persuasion minigame. Now, you want to talk about bad persuasion minigames? I think we could both agree that one is terrible. Because you're
It's
out here
something.
like you tell a joke and this dude just gets all pissed at you. It's like, okay, damn, I'm sorry. Man. Kind of weird tangent. Moon, what about you? What have you been playing?
Not too much of a tangent. It's still an RPG, but I'm continuing Sea of Stars. I'm about 14, 15 hours in. I've like semi-dropped Armored Core. It's like I'm just not focused.
God.
I haven't completely dropped it. I just wanted to take a break from it because after
That's fair.
the sort of some chapter 3 missions, I'm just like, am I just not into this anymore?
If you can't beat chapter 3, chapter 4 is gonna crush you.
Yeah, so I like.
This guy, look at Bench here over here, the toxic From Software fan. All of a sudden,
So I've just been focusing on Sea of Stars this whole time, and it's a good time. I'm like I said, about 14 hours in. I hear it's about a 30-ish hour game, so about a little over halfway.
Armored Core 6 is so good.
Yeah, I mean it's a good game. I just
I
just have skill issues. But I can't really say anything else because of spoilers, because it's still a newer game. But people who've played Sea of Stars know where I am. I've conquered the pirate ship, and I'm now sailing around, and that's where I am. People who play the game will know what I'm talking about.
That's it?
I mean, I guess so. It's like I've only been playing the one game.
Man. Okay. Wow, it really just hits when Fusion's not here. They're just like, yeah, man, this game's pretty good. And then we go on a tangent about how
I'll have more next
wrong.
week when the Pokemon DLC is out and all that.
Oh, speaking of direct predictions, I think the part 2 of the DLC shows up and gets dated.
We talked about that.
I said that.
Open your ears. Moon, sign us off before I strangle Bench.
All right. So before we get to the strangulation, thank you all for joining us on this episode, this little lighter episode of A Slice of Gaming. I think this is actually probably one of our shorter episodes yet. But thank you for tuning in. We'll hopefully have more next week, as hopefully a direct will be airing so we can wrap that up. And I think Tokyo Game Show is... Then we'll just have to make more predictions.
True.
So I hope you all guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that other good stuff on all platforms such as YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Audible. And we'd like to thank you for dedicating a slice of your time to A Slice of Gaming podcast. Say goodnight, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
So guys.